Choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, Husson University hosted an education exhibit to learn signs of opioid abuse in young adults.
Plus, members of the military are celebrating their silver anniversary down in Arlington. We'll hear from Maine veterans this morning.
And the Bangor School Department began a new collaborative with the University of Maine. This and more right now.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Joe Cortez. Thanks for joining us this morning. It's good to be back. Had a little vacation. It was nice. How was your weekend?
You earned it, first of all, and it was good. I was lazy. So
oh, perfect. That's like
complain.
The best way to start it off, right?
Yes.
Well, we're back on the saddle. We're ready to rock and roll. We got a little bit of sunshine, some rain coming in this afternoon. Let's get a first check of our forecast with Conrad Sapinski. He joins us now.
Thank you so much, Joe and Emma. And today's first weather is brought to you by Crosby Sports Shop. They have a large supply of ammo in stock, custom Damascus knives, fishing supplies of all kinds, concealed weapons classes, and a full line of Dragonfly UV tackle, plus the latest in ultraviolet tackle. Call today. And also a good amount of fog for this morning, so really leave extra early for work for that morning commute because it is pretty foggy, barely any visibility, really closer to the coast. Check out Bar Harbor, near zero visibility. Same thing by Rockland, by Augusta, Portland. Everybody, especially by the coast, is in with a near zero visibility. Same thing just east of Bar Harbor. So a lot of locations have a good amount of dense fog, so really be careful, take extra precautions, and because of that fog, we do have some dense fog advisories in effect until today at around 10 a.m. and also a small craft advisory until the afternoon hours tomorrow. So it is going to be a little bit more on the windy end, especially off the coast, and we do have some clouds, not any precipitation in the area, but that is going to change. We will have some rain later on today. Temperatures will rise into the mid-70s. We will have a little breezy conditions with winds out of the southeast at 5 to 15 miles per hour. And later on today, once we do have more clouds rolling in, those rain showers will arrive and temperatures will continue to rise into the mid-70s. Joe and Emma?
And a Bangor man who was arrested after he allegedly fired a gun inside his apartment during an argument made his first court appearance yesterday afternoon. 35-year-old Fox Maloney is charged with reckless conduct and criminal threatening with a dangerous weapon and disorderly conduct.
Bangor police officers responded to 68 Jefferson Street for a report of two men arguing just after 2 a.m. Saturday. The caller reported hearing what sounded like a gunshot. When officers arrived, they found Maloney and his roommate had been arguing, and one had refused to leave the other's room. Maloney allegedly displayed a handgun and fired within the apartment. No one was injured. During court proceedings yesterday, lawyers said the bullet was lodged in a wall. Maloney's bail has been set at $5,000.
And a woman sitting near Thunder Hole in Acadia National Park was swept into the ocean Saturday afternoon. The officer in charge, Jared Kushlaw of the United States Coast Guard, says their unit at Southwest Harbor was quickly deployed and was able to rescue the woman approximately 300 feet offshore. She was transferred to EMS in Bar Harbor for first aid. No injuries were reported.
The Bangor School Department began a new diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging collaborative with the University of Maine yesterday. The first course of the partnership took place at 4 p.m. at the James F. Dowdy School. Prior to the class, representatives from UMaine's Department of Education and Human Development joined Bangor School Department officials to discuss the partnership and answer questions. Superintendent of Bangor Schools, James Tager, says the partnership will provide important training for educators in the Bangor School Department.
With the guidance of the University of Maine, the Bangor School Department is building a learning community of educators in primary through higher education. We look forward to combining their diverse practices, identities, and approaches to this work with the shared goal of building a caring, inclusive, and equity-driven educational experience for everyone in our schools.
Educators from each of Bangor's schools will take part in the 3 collaborative training courses.
The new school in Sullivan was supposed to open up on Monday, but the opening of the Charles M. Sumner Learning Campus has been delayed. In a letter to parents, Superintendent Michael Eastman said they received the certificate of occupancy inspection results, and there were a number of issues that had to be addressed before staff could even get into the building. He said the earliest that could happen was on Monday, and then teachers would need a couple of days to get their classrooms set up. The new opening day is now slated for Wednesday. Eastman said while the delay is beyond their control, he believes it will be well worth the wait.
Hudson University hosted an exhibit to educate visitors about possible warning signs that a teen could be using drugs. Matthew Juronsik has more on the story.
I'm here at the opioid overdose trial at Hudson University, and as you can see right behind me, students are learning about the early signs of opioid abuse. Members of the Hudson community had the opportunity to learn how to identify signs that someone could be suffering from substance abuse disorder. Students who took part found themselves in a replica of a teenager's bedroom where a Code 3 instructor showed possible spots and signs of hidden drugs. With Hudson University's Director of Experimental Learning, Dr. Peter McLean, saying that this year is going to outpace 2021, the university is looking to increase public awareness surrounding signs of drug use.
Statistically, again, the state has come out with new statistics showing that we're having more overdoses than ever. So prevention, education, anything we can do to help prevent people or help them get help from using opiates is really important. The death toll just keeps climbing.
According to Maine Drug Data Hub, Maine had a total of 641 fatal overdoses and 4,448 non-fatal overdoses in 2021. Code 3 Executive Director Joseph Abdallah says it's important for college students to know the dangers of buying drugs illegally.
A lot of the opioid counterfeit pills are targeted at college students because they are disguised now as Xanax and Adderall, very common medications taken by kids in college, and a lot of the counterfeit pills are disguised as those, and they are actually opiates.
Code 3 is a nonprofit organization that helps to create trust between police departments and the communities they serve. For junior pharmacy major Olivia Moody, it was the little details that took her by surprise.
We recognize like the needles and things like that we see in the pharmacy, but you don't see the things like the Ziploc bags, the top of the bags and things like that, just little tiny signs that you wouldn't normally recognize.
She says knowing what to do when someone overdoses is a basic skill that everyone needs to understand and recognize.
It's just super important for us as pharmacy students to be able to like recognize, especially like opioid overdosing and things like that. It's stuff that we should be able to recognize in the pharmacy all the time. So just definitely like creating awareness for things.
Reporting from Bangor, Matthew Juronsik, ABC 7 and Fox 22.
And the time is now 6:08.
Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, Paul LePage accused Governor Janet Mills of forcing the removal of the Shamoot Dam through regulatory means. Details are ahead.
But first, let's take a quick look at your forecast. Temperatures in the low to mid-70s today. We'll have a little overcast around, some showers moving in this afternoon. Rain and thunderstorms overnight. Those temps are dropping down to the low 60s. But tomorrow, we have a beautiful day in store with some sunshine, a little bit of breeze, and a high of 77.
Offensive and divisive. That's Paul LePage's legacy. But it's not just what he said as governor. It's what he did. LePage slashed funding for cancer screenings for women. He refused to invest in clean energy, kicked over 1,000 seniors off their prescription drug program, and even opposed funding to Meals on Wheels. So, if that's what Paul LePage did last time he was governor, we can't send him back. The top funder of A Better Maine is the Democratic Governors Association.
When you're ready to tackle your next building project, no matter how big or small, you'll find all the products and services you need at Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner.
Your favorite restaurants were half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
Mainly Pizza is not just pizza. They have grocery items, baked goods, breakfast sandwiches, and subs. They also have freshly baked desserts and ice cream, all in a family atmosphere. A visit to Mainly Pizza is worth the drive.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
This was such a freak accident. My car went up and flipped over. The doors went open. I was screaming.
Were you driving insured?
I had gotten insurance that morning.
Well, right off the bat, I don't believe that.
Hot Bench. Tuesday at 3 on ABC 7.
Pedestrian bridge under the Willard Orr Bridge in Bangor is closed. City officials say work began Monday to fix some problems engineers found while they were inspecting the structure.
They found the structural components were in decent shape, but the bridge deck was certainly, if you take a look at it, you can see it's all cracked and shattered. And then the bridge rail itself wasn't in great shape.
And he said depending on the price, the city might upgrade the rail to match the rail on the upper bridge. They hope to have the project wrapped up this fall, but he says that there could be delays if they do decide to upgrade the rail.
Former Governor Paul LePage is accusing Governor Janet Mills of being dishonest about her support for the Sappi Mill and its workers. At a press conference earlier yesterday afternoon, LePage accused Mills of forcing the removal of the Shawmut Dam through regulatory means, calling it a backroom deal. He said it would endanger 750 jobs to reach 99% survival rate for fish passing the dam.
Her administration is openly plotting the removal of the dam, resulting in the subsequent closing of the Sappi Mill, an absolute economic disaster for the state of Maine.
A statement from Deputy Commissioner David Medore with the Maine Department of Marine Resources said in part, quote, DEP is required under the Clean Water Act to act on applications for water quality certifications within 1 year of their submission. In order to ensure any water quality certification by the state for the Shawmut Hydroelectric Project includes the full range of information from the federal evaluation, including the most up-to-date science, the Maine DEP has drafted a denial without prejudice of Brookfield's October 18, 2021 water quality merits application. He goes on to say, quote, a denial without prejudice would not change current operational requirements for the dam, nor would it require removal of the dam, as asserted by some commenters. Brookfield would need to file a new WQC application with the department to continue with the federal licensing process. Mills and LePage are facing each other in the race for Maine's governor.
And the time is now 6:12. After the break, supply chain issues caused by the pandemic have put a big backlog on lumber orders, and a spike in demand is putting more pressure on distributors.
Plus, more than 100,000 railroad workers are threatening to go on strike. We'll be right back with the details.
The signs of summer are here. The sun's out for the evening commute. Whistles and clapping echo from the ball field. And a day at the lake brings the family together. Valley Home Services offers whole home comfort, serving northern Maine to Portland. With the push of a button on a Fujitsu heat pump, you're ready for whatever summer brings. Humid days or cool nights, come home to comfort with Valley Home Services. Home is our middle name.
Scudic & Bloom, a full-service, custom-designed florist, Main Street in Winter Harbor.
We can deliver one-of-a-kind, full-color flower arrangements
by custom floral designer me, Pam.
Delivering to Ellsworth and surrounding areas for any occasion.
Please visit scudicandbloom.com or call 844-SCUDIC.
This week, GM is live in London as the world celebrates the life of Queen Elizabeth and now King Charles. Plus, look who's coming to America's favorite morning show. Serena taking center court in Times Square. Steve Carell, Viola Davis, Lil Nas X, Brie Larson on
Good morning, America.
It's Wheels' 40th season. That means we're going XL.
With extra luxurious trips.
And we're adding a $40,000 XL wedge. Wow!
Sign up for your Spin ID and you could win 40 grand when our players do.
It's extra lucky for you.
Maggie, don't you love our new extra large dressing room?
What extra large dressing room?
Never mind.
Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7.
If you're trying to replace your backyard deck or install new windows for your home, you've probably had to wait longer and spend more money than you would like to. Now, Fox News multimedia reporter Jake Karalexis is at a lumber yard with more on this story.
Supply chain issues caused by the pandemic have put a big backlog on lumber orders, and a spike in demand is putting more pressure on distributors.
It's been a huge thing that we're still trying to recover from.
This lumber mill just outside Seattle gets wood shipped in from Canada. But during COVID, suppliers struggled with staffing shortages and stopped taking orders. With less supply, prices went up.
The cost of inventory is twice what it was previously, so just being able to afford carrying that much inventory can be a little bit difficult.
In 2019, Amble was paying $8 for a 4x8 foot piece of plywood. Now he's paying $50. That's not the only problem. Demand for lumber is also on the rise.
Sales across the building industry spiked. All the DIYers were coming out to do their own projects, which created this huge demand for material, but there was no production behind it to supply it.
The shortage is felt beyond the lumber mills, like with home improvement companies.
6 months ago, we were still getting delivery times for some wood windows and doors year and a half out.
Gavosk buys lumber from Amble for window and door replacements. He used to order every few weeks. Because of shipping delays, now it's several months in advance. This makes scheduling renovations tougher.
It was difficult to, get people on board to do the job if we were not able to give them exact dates, like when we'll have all the stuff that we need to do the job.
Amble says this is uncharted territory for people and businesses who depend on lumber.
We're at a point now where I've never been before. The building industry is going to have to start adjusting to what's available in the supply side.
Amble says before the pandemic, he was getting his lumber shipped in 3 to 4 weeks. Now, it's taking twice as long. In Issaquah, Washington, Jake Alexis, Fox News.
And in a similar grain, scientists in Israel are using 3D technology to create wood. At the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, scientists have developed a wood-based paste that can be 3D printed. Once the paste dries up, it can be shaped. This type of printing can allow them to control how the wood will warp as it dries. The end result is to be recyclable, sustainable, and have the qualities of actual trees. Scientists hope that in the future, this new technology will allow manufacturers to create more complicated wooden items using this technology. The time is now 6:17.
And let's throw it over to Conrad Sipinski with the latest look at our forecast.
Good morning, Conrad.
Thank you so much, Joe and Emma. And today's main weather is brought to you by Crosby Sport Shop. They have a large supply of ammo in stock, custom Damascus knives, fishing supplies of all kinds, concealed weapons classes, and a full line of Dragonfly UV tackle, plus the latest ultraviolet tackle. Call today. So pretty foggy start to the day. Reminds me more of Halloween with those really interesting vibes outside. Really barely any visibility. Lots of fog, especially by the coast. Check out Bar Harbor, really near zero visibility. So be careful. Fog is really dense by Rockland, by Augusta, by Portland. A lot of locations has some really dense fog besides Bangor. Check out Bangor, coming in close to 10-mile visibility. Same thing in Waterville. That doesn't mean there's no fog anywhere around town. There is some patchy fog. So if you're out and about, be careful, leave extra early because this fog is pretty dense. And because of that, we do have some dense fog advisories in effect until 10 a.m. today. And by the coast, small craft advisories in effect until 8 p.m. tomorrow. So if you're out and about, really be careful as the waves will be a little bit on the higher end. We do have some good amount of cloud cover across the whole state today. No precipitation at the moment, but all of that is going to be changing. The rain indicated here in the green, more in upstate New York at the moment, but all of it will continue to move up the eastern seaboard and it will finally make it into Maine a little bit later today and then continue into the overnight hours before finally moving out by tomorrow. It is not going to be a big rain event, a soaker at that. It is going to be a little bit more on the lighter end, but still something to pay attention to and maybe ruin a couple of plans or two. Winds, not a big issue at the moment. A lot of locations have only a 3-mile visibility at most, but later on, especially by the morning hours tomorrow and then into the overnight hours tomorrow, really gets breezy. By around 3 p.m., we might have wind gusts close to 30 miles per hour, so get ready. It will be windy. Temperatures, though, will be above average the next couple of days. And then Thursday and Friday, we really cool off into the 60s. So bring out those long sleeve shirts. It will cool down in 2 days. But today, temperatures will be hovering close to 75 degrees. Like I mentioned, those afternoon rain showers will be moving in, and our extended forecast outlook does show lots of clear weather by Wednesday and a cool down by Thursday and Friday.
Behind every keepsake, there's a memory. Behind every photo, there's a story. Behind Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration, there's people giving back by bringing back what was thought to be lost. The details, the time, and the expertise, all packaged up behind a name that Mainers have trusted for over 35 years. Statewide commercial and residential services. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories. We'll handle the rest.
If you've been injured and think you can't afford a lawyer, think again. There's absolutely no fee unless we win money for you.
I called the twos after a big truck put me in the hospital. I never paid Lowry and Associates a penny out of my pocket. They came to the hospital, got my medical bills paid, got me $350,000.
I'm Jim with Lowry and Associates. Call the twos. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
At Home Kitchen, Bath, and Flooring in Dover Foxcroft are proud members of the Flooring Network here in Maine. We have our flooring installers on staff ready for you and your custom flooring project. With over 50 years of combined experience, we'll work with you from start to finish, including demo and cleanup. Backed by the Flooring Network's state-of-the-art warehouses, we have a massive inventory to provide you with the best value and fit any flooring budget you may have. So stop in, meet our flooring experts, and see what we can do to make you feel at home.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Millinocket, is sponsored by Peer-to-Peer, a community-oriented center inspiring hope for recovery in the Katahdin region. Emery Lee & Sons does it all and does it well, your general contractor since the 1960s. And S&S Weapons, open Thursday through Sunday, 12 to 6. Stop in and let Scott or Sam help you find what you're looking for.
There's one number you need to know. It's called Joe.
Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones is set to go on trial for a second time in the Sandy Hook shooting hoax case. Jones will be in court today in Connecticut, facing 3 lawsuits for spreading lies, claiming the massacre was a hoax, and causing several of the victims' families emotional and psychological harm. The jury will hear evidence on how much Jones should pay the families, since he already has been found liable for damages to them. In his first trial last month in Texas, the InfoWars host was ordered to pay $49 million after being found guilty of defaming the parents of 6-year-old Jesse Lewis, one of 26 students and teachers killed in the 2012 shooting in Newtown, Connecticut.
President Biden says his administration has a goal of, quote, ending cancer as we know it, unquote. President Biden made his remarks on Monday, the 60th anniversary of President Kennedy's famous moonshot speech. The chief executive delivered his address at the Kennedy Presidential Library and Museum in Boston. On September 12, 1962, President Kennedy pledged to have an American on the moon before the decade ended. In the same spirit, the president wanted to see cancer death rates cut by at least half, touting new diagnostic tools that screen for multiple cancers to dramatically improve early detection.
I give you my word as a Biden, this cancer moonshot is one of the reasons why I ran for president. It's part of my unity agenda that I laid out in my State of the Union address to rally the American people to work together. Because we know this, cancer does not discriminate red and blue. It doesn't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Beating cancer is something we can do together, and that's why I'm here today.
Cancer is a topic that's deeply personal for the president. 7 years ago, Biden's son, Beau, who was the Delaware Attorney General, died of brain cancer at the age of 46.
A developing story this morning that could have major implications for the U.S. economy. More than 100,000 railroad workers are threatening to go on strike. ABC's Derek Dennis reports on what's at stake and who's trying to intervene.
This morning, urgent talks in Washington to avoid a rail strike as unions representing engineers and conductors negotiate with the nation's biggest freight railroads. Passenger service, supply chains, jobs, and supporting industries could be crippled, costing the economy an estimated $2 billion per day. The deadline for a deal, 12:01 a.m. Friday. Some long-distance Amtrak service could be suspended as early as today.
Obviously, a railroad strike at this point in time would be extraordinarily detrimental to our economy and to the American people, and we want to avoid that.
Congressman Steny Hoyer among several lawmakers working to avert a strike over worker pay, health care, and other issues. There was a tentative deal which would have delivered workers a 24% raise, but two union holdouts released a statement accusing the railroads of using shippers, consumers, and the supply chain of our nation as pawns in an effort to get our unions to cave into their contract demands and calling it corporate terrorism. President Biden said to be in direct talks to avoid a strike, which could mean ordering workers to stay on the job.
The president has certain authorities that he can exercise. The Congress can also pass legislation.
The threat of higher costs coming as inflation shows signs of easing. Today's report from the Labor Department is expected to show the inflation rate dropped to 8.1% in August, down from 8.5% in July. Consider this, railroads carry 40% of the nation's long-haul shipments, so a railroad strike stops those goods literally in their tracks.
Still to come here on the second half of our show, we'll hear from an official at Acadia National Park who has reported impressive data regarding tourism rates.
And we'll get a glimpse of the annual Brewer Days car show that occurred over the weekend. This and more local news as Good Morning Maine continues.
Do you own a timeshare? At first, maybe it seemed like a great investment, but then you realized a lot of the promises made to you were simply not true. A little later, you started receiving the monthly maintenance fees and additional associated bills they failed to mention when you signed the agreement. And now their fees keep rising. Your times to actually use the timeshare keep shrinking, and the resort has no interest in letting you out of the agreement. Your vacation dream has turned into a timeshare nightmare. An overwhelming, never-ending financial obligation that will fall on your children after you're gone. And it seems as if there is no way out. Well, here's some great news. There is a way out. The Timeshare Exit Hotline has helped hundreds of people just like you. Desperate people who thought they were stuck in this burden forever. Although most professionals in the timeshare industry are legitimate, there are those that use aggressive, sometimes even misleading sales tactics to try and trick innocent people into signing their lives away. We've heard many stories of people who have been lied to and others who were kept in a room for over 10 hours, not provided water or anything to eat, pressured until they were exhausted. These people finally signed a contract just to get out of there. If you're one of the unfortunate people who have been roped into a timeshare nightmare and feel there is no way out, call the number on your screen right now. When we take your case, it means we are highly confident that we can win. We'll provide you with an affordable, one-time fixed fee and our 100% client satisfaction guarantee. Now you don't have to face arrogant, aggressive salespeople alone. We're experts in consumer protection, real estate, and contract law. Even if they bullied you into an agreement, rest assured they're not going to bully us. So don't wait. Call us right now. Even if you've tried another company that failed you, call us. Our track record of successful negotiations speaks for itself. The call is free, the information is free, and there is absolutely no obligation. A single phone call could free you of this burden. So don't wait. Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline right now.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
It's Tuesday, September 13th of 2022. Oh, lucky Tuesday the 13th. The first recorded auto fatality was 122 years ago today when a man by the name of Henry Bliss was struck and killed by a taxi cab while crossing a street in New York City.
That one interests me, and I looked up when was the first Model T produced, and that was in 1908. So that happened in 1900. So that was before, the Model T is known as is generally regarded, Wikipedia says, as the first affordable automobile.
Yep.
So I think it's interesting that, of course, the first auto accident would happen before everybody starts getting.
And it's just interesting to think about that, 122 years ago, it is a long time ago, but in reality, in how humans have been around, it really isn't that long ago. We've only had automobiles for a couple hundred years at this point.
New York always expedites things.
Yes, very quickly. And watch out for those cab drivers out there.
Well, the first woman to serve in both houses of Congress was elected to the U.S. Senate 74 years ago today. Republican Margaret Chase Smith from Skowhegan, Maine. American filmmaker Tyler Perry is 53, and today is National Defy Superstition Day. I like that. Tuesday the 13th. We're defying it already.
Oh, look at that.
And it's Positive Thinking Day. I think those things go hand in hand.
I like that. I like the positive thinking. Let's stick with that every day. Let's just make that a trend. Get it on social media, just positive thinking all around.
Right. Unless you don't want to, and then we won't force you.
No,
that's toxic.
That's why you have a choice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's toxic positive. Oh, I like that even better. Let's turn it over to meteorologist Conrad Sapinski. He joins us now with the latest forecast.
Good morning, Conrad.
Thank you so much, Joe and Emma. And today's first weather is brought to you by Crosby Sports Shop. They have a large supply of ammo in stock, custom Damascus knives, fishing supplies of all kinds, concealed weapons classes, and a full line of Dragonfly UV tackle, plus the latest in ultraviolet tackle. Call today. And also a good amount of fog for this morning, so really leave extra early for work for that morning commute because it is pretty foggy, barely any visibility, really closer to the coast. Check out Bar Harbor, near zero visibility. Same thing by Rockland, by Augusta, Portland. Everybody, especially by the coast, is in with a near zero visibility. Same thing just east of Bar Harbor. So a lot of locations have a good amount of dense fog, so really be careful, take extra precautions, and because of that fog, we do have some dense fog advisories in effect until today at around 10 a.m. and also a small craft advisory until the afternoon hours tomorrow. So it is going to be a little bit more on the windy end, especially off the coast, and we do have some clouds, not any precipitation in the area, but that is going to change. We will have some rain later on today. Temperatures will rise into the mid-70s. We will have a little breezy conditions with winds out of the southeast at 5 to 15 miles per hour. And later on today, once we do have more clouds rolling in, those rain showers will arrive and temperatures will continue to rise into the mid-70s. Joe and Emma?
Thank you, Conrad.
The Acadia National Park Advisory Commission says major construction projects are moving along quickly, and this year's visitation numbers are shaping up to be the second highest in the park's history. It was the Advisory Commission's first in-person meeting since February of 2020, though some participated virtually. According to officials, major projects are moving along. They said the improvements to the Duckbrook Bridge, which rests in between the Visitor Center and Route 233, are almost complete. Construction is expected to start in November on a project to replace the culverts on Cadillac Mountain Road. Officials said there could be intermittent closures to that road during that project.
Bidding for the Maintenance Building Improvement Project closes Wednesday, and bids for the Schoodic Wastewater Rehabilitation Project are being evaluated. In addition to updating progress on construction and improvement projects, Park Superintendent Kevin Schneider says the park continues to struggle with staffing due to, at least in part, to a lack of housing.
This summer, we wanted to hire 165 summer seasonals. That was our target, approximately. We only hired 116, and so we were short-staffed. And a big part of that is employee housing. A hiring manager may have, say, they want to fill 20 positions, but they only have 10 beds. When it comes to position number 11, where you don't have housing, it becomes almost impossible for someone to take that job unless they, happen to have a family member or live in the area. And so that's really a challenge for us.
Schneider also reported this year is shaping up to be the second busiest year for visitation in history. Though those official numbers are not in yet, last year was the park's busiest year on record. The Women's Military Memorial just outside of Arlington National Cemetery is getting ready to celebrate its silver anniversary.
The monument is dedicated to women who have served our country, many of whom are from Maine. Our Jody Hersey has more.
We want women to share their stories with the world, with America, so that their stories are not forgotten. The service and sacrifice that they did for our country, for our freedom, is important to be recorded in history.
Thankfully, the Military Women's Memorial in Washington, D.C. has been the location of where thousands of women in uniform can register and record their years of service so that their contributions are never overlooked. Lieutenant Colonel Jolene Brown has been with the Maine Air National Guard for 22 years. She says the memorial is a great way to honor women in uniform.
And we don't serve to be recognized, but I think it's important that others do recognize the impact that women have in defense of the homeland and serving our country.
It takes just moments for female veterans to document their military service at womensmemorial.org.
It didn't take very long, and the time that it did take, I think, has significant value looking back for future generations.
No matter what you've done, if you've been in combat, not in combat, you've served stateside your whole career, all of your stories are important.
The 330-square-foot Military Women's Memorial will mark its 25th anniversary in October, and memorial organizers say they'd like to raise $25,000 to celebrate that special milestone. All the money raised will help maintain and redesign the memorial, as well as fund the memorial's educational programs to ensure even more women are recognized for their service. In Bangor, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22.
The city of Bangor has hosted a number of car shows the last few weekends. That trend continued in Brewer on Sunday. Over 200 cars showed up in the Twin City Plaza on State Street Sunday for the 15th annual Brewer Days Car Show. Everything from Mustangs to Mopars, Camaros, and street rods attracted the attention of spectators. Trophies were handed out to the first, second, and third place winners in each category.
And organizer Teresa Mayberry says the Brewer Days Car Show takes the best aspects of other area car shows and rolls them all into one single event.
First place trophies are one of a kind, scout made, with parts and pieces of cars and wrenches and whatever.
It's a lot of work. There's, several years, some cars, to take something out of nothing and bring it all back. But in the end, it's really rewarding.
All proceeds from the car show benefit the Brewer Boy Scouts Troop 15 to help them pay for their activities and scouting camp. Well, here's a wild story for you. A nurse on board of a Spirit Airlines flight to Orlando helped save a baby struggling to breathe.
Fox meteorologist Ian Cassette was on board that flight and has more on the story.
This is my cell phone video of the aftermath. Obviously, I didn't want to record anything until I knew the 3-month-old little girl was going to be okay. The mother was pleading for help, and that's when the crew got over the loudspeaker and asked for any doctors or nurses to come and help. It felt like forever as we all sat silent, waiting for someone to speak up. After several seconds, an RN on board got out of her seat and rushed to help the baby in the front of the plane. We all just sat there and watched.
Your heart falls and you spring into action, and we started, massaging the baby's chest more aggressively, trying to get it to breathe, massaging its legs.
Nurse Tamara Panzino gave the baby oxygen, did chest compressions, massaged the infant's legs and chest, and suddenly the child came back. The passengers, including myself, didn't know the outcome until we saw the smile on everyone's faces. It was an amazing moment and one that I will never forget.
I'm not one to jump into drama or anything like that. I was really hoping someone else was going to be a doctor. But when you have to step forward and do what's right, you do. And it was just a happy story. It made me feel really good.
Nurse Appreciation Day every day.
Every day. Every day,
Every
nonstop,
day is a
24
national
hours.
holiday for nurse appreciation. Well, still to come here this morning, we'll have sports updates from around the state, and Dave Peck will be in with these details and a surprising announcement as well.
But first, let's take a quick look at your forecast. Temperatures in low 70s, a little bit of overcast. We'll see some rain move in this afternoon and into this evening. But tomorrow is sunny with a little bit of breeze and a high of 77.
Portacall in Bucksport is having a spectacular end-of-season sale beginning Friday, September 9th at 10 a.m. and lasting 10 days only. With great savings for you on many wonderful closeout items, 50 to 60% off. Choose from closeouts on selected shirts, jewelry, plush toys, fragrances, lamb's wool blankets, and so much more. Also, we're offering limited time-only specials on other items in the store. Enjoy these fabulous end-of-season savings at Portacall, 69 Main Street, Bucksport.
Do you have leaky pipes? Are you planning a plumbing job? Is your heating system working right? Are you designing a plumbing project? Then contact Harley's Plumbing and Heating Plus.
If your toilet will not flush, Harley will be there in a rush. Furnace bit the dust today. Harley crew is on the way. Harley Plumbing, Harley Heating. 990-2200.
Call now.
Harley!
Call or visit online.
Outsiders come to Alaska to disappear or to reinvent themselves. Which is it?
I came for a job. I'm a reporter.
Her death is part of a pattern, and we need to show who's to blame.
The cops, politicians, no one's going to help. Why? We're going to break this story.
The Husson University Eagles take on the Alfred State Pioneers this Saturday at noon on Fox 22.
Good morning, everyone. Well, 2 games, 2 losses so far for Maine football, but overall, a much more promising effort from the Black Bears in Saturday's 21-18 loss to Colgate. Now, it didn't start very positive because for the entire first half, the Maine offense was still in search of its first score of the season. Defensively, though, the Black Hole kept the game tight, giving up just 1 touchdown in the first 2 quarters, a significant improvement from Week 1 at New Mexico.
We're more physical, and that was a big emphasis for us. And that's what we want to be known as a football program is being a physical team, and we showed that. We showed that we can do that. Still a lot of things to clean up, but I thought the players were really sound in their assignments and knowing where they need to be, and it comes to getting off the field too.
Now, if we're looking glass half full here, the most promising takeaway from Saturday was the late push. Maine scored 15 points in the fourth quarter alone, losing by just 3 after a missed field goal from about 40 yards out. But Stevens said that's the heart they're going to need, and it started with the quarterback, Joe Fagnano.
We're going to lean on him, and he's going to be the one to lead us. So, and you saw him, we had a 4th and 4, we were backed up in our own territory in 2-minute drill, and he dove for a first down. So, those are the plays we can point to as how we need to play, the type of heart we need to play with, and Joe's certainly leading the way with that.
So they'll face Boston College in Chestnut Hill this coming Saturday. Now, if you were a Maine fan looking for some better news on Sunday, your football weekend probably didn't get much better with the Patriots losing. The good news, of course, is that football is football, and the Pats were finally in action versus Miami. The bad news was they didn't look very good, losing at Hard Rock Stadium for the 3rd straight year, this one 20-7. The offense struggled throughout, but really it was 2 big plays that changed the entire game. In the second quarter, Brandon Jones came scot-free off the edge, forcing a fumble and an eventual touchdown. Then, late in the half, Jalen Waddle caught a touchdown pass on a 4th down conversion from Tua Tagovailoa. According to Ian Rappaport now, Mac Jones was dealing with back spasms that sent him to get x-rays after the game, though the results did come back negative.
Yeah, I want to be able to be ready to play against Pittsburgh, and I feel good. But yesterday, just talking with the trainers, just try to get back. Wasn't feeling too hot after the game, but definitely feel a lot better.
I know everybody's hungry for an up-to-the-second update, but honestly, the best way to handle these situations is always to give it a little time, see what happens, run whatever tests or analysis need to be run, and then go from there.
So the Pats will travel to Pittsburgh this week to take on the Steelers at 1 p.m. on Sunday. For now, let's head to the high school circuit and get to some field hockey action from Monday. John Baptist hosting Old Town here at the Union Street Fields. Really tight game in the first half here. Not a lot of offense. Karma Ruggieri with the shot, kick save from Kate Griffin, and that kept it scoreless. Second half, though, the Coyotes break through. Grace Willie delivers the cross. Kaylee Wagner finishes it off. 1-0 Old Town on top. And then just a couple minutes later, Natalie Fournier here. Nifty backhand flip on net. Griffin with the initial save, but Willie is there on the rebound as Old Town goes on to take it. 2-0 is the final. And here's a look at some of the other action from around the state on Monday. Staying with field hockey, it's Dexter over Foxcroft 3-0. Then another blank. Herman takes down Orono 2-0. And in Class C girls soccer, it's 3-1 Bucksport over Central. And Skank defeats Lee 4-2. And finally, for those who haven't heard, this will be my last day at ABC7 and Fox 22. It's been truly a dream come true to start my career in Bangor. So many great people who really care for their local teams, and that's what made covering Eastern and Northern Maine so enjoyable for the last couple of years. I want to thank everyone who's helped make our jobs possible, from the athletic directors in the area, athletes, coaches, everyone working behind the scenes in production, co-workers who have continuously made us look better than we actually are out here. As for what's next, I've accepted a job in my home state of Connecticut, but you'll be in good hands with Tyler Cruz taking over as sports director from here on out. So for the last time, I say, already that's sports, and thank you. We'll be right back.
Join us every Friday this season as we celebrate the return to the gridiron with the most highlights, reaction, and analysis of your favorite teams. Catch Sports Blitz Friday at 11 on ABC7. Sports Blitz brought to you by Coastal Auto Parts, your local Napa Auto Parts dealer with 29 locations, owned and operated by a Maine family that cares. And by Dorsey Furniture, Route 1A Holden, where you'll find furniture that's in stock and ready for delivery.
Whether you're racing to pick up the kids or a quarter mile, make sure you get to the finish line in record time. Give your car the race car treatment with the brand trusted by the Napa Racing Team. Pick up a gear wrench socket set for your garage at any of our 29 locations. And while you're here, sign up for the Napa Rewards. You'll save more each time you shop. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
Napa know-how. Napa know-how.
Established in 1925, Bangor Floral has been a premier provider of beautiful floral arrangements and thoughtful gifts for almost 100 years. Whatever the occasion, our premium collection of colorful blooms, blossoming plants, and gift baskets have warmed hearts for generations. We strongly support the Buy Local movement, purchasing directly from local farms and growers, and we are committed to the preservation of our environment. Bangor Floral, located at 332 Harlow Street. Stop in today to experience a flower shop like no other.
And with Tuesday's business news, here's Leo Jonathan.
New federal numbers on rising inflation are due out today. Data company FactSet predicts around 8.1% in August compared to last year. The S&P gained 1.1% Monday. The Nasdaq finished up 1.3%. The Dow closed up 1.7%. Friday is the deadline for railroads and their workers' unions to make a deal to avoid a strike. Labor Secretary Marty Walsh joined the talks over the weekend. A railroad trade group says a strike would cost the economy $2 billion a day. And the former head of Twitter security, Peter Zatko, is headed to Capitol Hill today. He was fired earlier this year and became a whistleblower, warning about lax privacy controls and security flaws at the platform. He testifies before the Senate Judiciary Committee this afternoon. I'm Leo Jonathan with Tuesday's Business on ABC7.
DVD, digital, and music releases this week include The King of Rock and Roll, A Space Ranger, and An Orphaned Girl, as well as a Grammy-winning country band. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with a list of new releases.
I'm ready. ready to fly.
Topping this week's list of what's new in home entertainment, Baz Luhrmann's musical biopic Elvis, starring Austin Butler as the king of rock and roll. The film tells the life story of the late legendary singer through the lens of his complicated relationship with his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, played by Tom Hanks.
Ready, Captain Lightyear?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Chris Evans is the voice of the Space Ranger in Disney's sci-fi action-adventure Lightyear. It explores the fictional origin story of the hero who inspired the toy in Toy Story films.
Sometimes I feel so invisible.
The book-to-screen adaptation, Where the Crawdads Sing, stars Daisy Edgar Jones as an orphaned girl in the marshes of North Carolina who becomes the main suspect in the murder of a man she was once involved with.
Face it, David, we're lost.
In the suspense-filled drama The Forgiven, Jessica Chastain and Ray Fiennes play a wealthy, unhappy married couple who accidentally hit and kill a young Moroccan man on the way to a desert party.
We have been dreaming about a place like this for a while now.
Emma Roberts stars in the horror film Abandoned, about a couple who moved to the country with their baby son and discover their new home has a violent past.
Fasten your gi.
Small screen favorites to own, Cobra Kai Season 4 centers on Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang dojos joining forces to take down Cobra Kai at the All Valley Tournament. And Season 1 of HBO's White Lotus follows a week in the life of a group of vacationers and employees at a tropical resort.
Can't get you off my mind.
For music fans, Grammy-winning country band Little Big Town released their new album, Mr. Sun.
Hell yeah, I'm dancing under neon lights.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And finally, here's Conrad Sapinski with one final look at our full weather forecast.
Good morning, Conrad.
Thank you so much, Joe and Emma. And today's main weather is brought to you by Crosby Sport Shop. They have a large supply of ammo in stock, custom Damascus knives, fishing supplies of all kinds, concealed weapons classes, and a full line of Dragonfly UV tackle, plus the latest ultraviolet tackle. Call today. So pretty foggy start to the day. Reminds me more of Halloween with those really interesting vibes outside, really barely any visibility. Lots of fog, especially by the coast. Check out Bar Harbor, really near zero visibility. So be careful. Fog is really dense by Rockland, by Augusta, by Portland. A lot of locations has some really dense fog besides Bangor. Check out Bangor, coming in close to 10-mile visibility. Same thing in Waterville. That doesn't mean there's no fog anywhere around town. There is some patchy fog. So if you're out and about, be careful, leave extra early because this fog is pretty dense. And because of that, we do have some dense fog advisories in effect until 10 a.m. today. And by the coast, small craft advisories in effect until 8 p.m. tomorrow. So if you're out and about, really be careful as the waves will be a little bit on the higher end. We do have some good amount of cloud cover across the whole state today. No precipitation at the moment, but all of that is going to be changing. The rain indicated here in the green, more in upstate New York at the moment, but all of it will continue to move up the eastern seaboard, and it will finally make it into Maine a little bit later today, and then continue into the overnight hours before finally moving out by tomorrow. It is not going to be a big rain event, a soaker at that. It is going to be a little bit more on the lighter end, but still something to pay attention to and maybe ruin a couple of plans or two. Winds, not a big issue at the moment. A lot of locations have only a 3-mile visibility at most, but later on, especially by the morning hours tomorrow and then into the overnight hours tomorrow, really gets breezy. By around 3 p.m., we might have wind gusts close to 30 miles per hour, so get ready. It will be windy. Temperatures, though, will be above average the next couple of days. And then Thursday and Friday, we really cool off into the 60s. So bring out those long sleeve shirts. It will cool down in 2 days. But today, temperatures will be hovering close to 75 degrees. Like I mentioned, those afternoon rain showers will be moving in. And our extended forecast outlook does show lots of clear weather by Wednesday and a cool down by Thursday and Friday.
Wherever you are, whether you're ready or not,
It's coming. With a purpose, with persistence, with the power to change the way you live. So you don't have to change the way you live. Generac automatic standby generators. Control your power, control your life. Visit Generac.com.
From a humble horse and buggy beginning over 100 years ago to a fleet of modern deluxe motor coaches today, Sear North Star Tours wants to take you places. In Maine, throughout the United States, and abroad, we offer tours and day trips to suit everyone's interests and passions. Cherry blossoms in the spring, Prince Edward Island in the summer, trips to the city, trips to the shore, culture, history, music, and more. Sear North Star Tours. Where can we take you?
Let your creativity run free at the Creative Arts Center, where we offer fun and affordable activities for all ages. Birthday parties, pottery wheel classes, painting lessons, or just for the fun of it. Get fired up for glazing projects as well as acrylics. We offer a wide selection of ceramic products for you to choose from, and we have thousands of pieces ready to paint. We are a Paragon kiln dealer and a Laguna Clay distributor. Stop by the Creative Arts Center today, located just off the Joshua Chamberlain Bridge in Brewer. The Creative Arts Center, where your only limitation is your imagination.
You nervous?
It's finally here. My lifelong dream of being in the FBI. We got this. We're feds.
If only there was a place in the morning to start my day. With a smile, somewhere to help me get in the know. Oh wait, there is.
Good morning, America.
GMA 7A. Now that's how you start your day.
Every once in a while, I like to make an appetizer and serve it for dinner. One of my favorites is nachos. That's why today we're sharing a beefy recipe for nachos that is dinner-worthy. We start by marinating a flank steak in some lemon juice, garlic, and a few seasonings. Once a steak has soaked up all that flavor, we can broil it or grill it inside or out until it's medium rare or so. While that finishes up, we take some tortilla chips and place them on an oven-proof platter or a couple of baking sheets. Then we top them with some shredded cheddar cheese and bake them off just long enough to let the cheese melt. After that, it's time to slice our steak across the grain and top our cheesy nachos with it. All that's left to do now is pile on our typical toppings. You know, tomatoes, onions, olives. You get the idea. Talk about a fun change of pace way to serve dinner. And like always, you can make this your very own by adding or leaving out whatever toppings you want. The recipe for our amazing marinated steak nachos is online now, so you can enjoy this for a light dinner or hearty afternoon snack. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a nacho-licious way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
We need more cheese. You got to keep those nachos
You
together,
read
Howard.
my mind. There's no shame in using an entire bag of shredded cheese.
Oh, absolutely not.
On a plate
How about
of
like
nachos.
two? Like switch it up. Multiple bags of cheese. Then it all
Layer
stays
the
together,
cheese.
right?
Yes. I like the way you think. Good Morning America is next on ABC 7.
Stay with us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That is next up on Fox 22. We hope you have a great day.
Hey everyone, today's an exciting day. I'm joined by my old friend, Mr. Ellis Williams, aka Mr. Biggs, one of the founding fathers of hip hop from the mighty Soul Sonic Force, who by the way happened to be a Car Shield customer, and I had no idea.
When I saw you representing Car Shield, I knew Car Shield was the real deal. You've always been official.
You called me and you told me, you said, man, I got Car Shield and it worked. What made you get it?
You know, I was actually watching a football game at the time. Car Shield commercial came on. I was like, you know what? I have this old SUV, and I know the manufacturer warranty is about to run out. I don't want to get stuck with expensive car repairs.
Right.
So I gave Car Shield a call. Coverage was very affordable, and there was no long-term contract. A few months after that, transmission went on my car. I took it to my mechanic. Mechanic knew of Car Shield. They called Car Shield and saved my family on $2,400.
Car Shield is America's #1 auto protection company. Their administrators have paid out over $1 billion in claims and cover most vehicles from $5,000 to $100,000.